Hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you're all well. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make this really cute seed bead bracelet that looks like this. It's got this kind of cross design on it, or it could be flowers. So this is what it looks like. So to make one of these you're going to need your clasp for your bracelet and your needle, beading needle and thread, and I'm using 6 pound fire line. You'll also need your size 11 seed beads, so you need at least 2 colours. One for the main colour, I'm using silver, and one for the inside of the cross. So I'm using this rainbow purple. So this colour and these are available in my shop, and I've just restocked some of the really nice pastel colours as well, ready for the spring, so I'll link that down below if you want to check it out. But that's everything for the bracelets, so let's get started. Okay, so when it comes to thread for these, so for each of these little units I use about 18 inches of thread. That's 18 inches of thread for one of these, but just for one of them, so as many as you're going to make, that's going to be up to you, and depending on the length that you need, you can use 18 inches for most of them, and then for one of them you're going to need to cut quite a lot longer thread, because you're going to use the thread that's left on that one to attach this clasp, and then to join them all together and add the clasp at the other end, and then secure it again and again. So you're going to need quite a lot of thread for just one of them, so I'd say you do that as your last one so that your working thread stays attached. And for that one I would say I usually use about 40 inches, 45 inches of thread, and that's just because I like to go backwards and forwards quite a few times through this, so that these beads here are not just holding on by a single thread, so there's several threads passing through them. So that's what I would say about thread. So you can cut 18 inches for these ones, and then just for one, your last one, cut quite a lot longer for your bracelet. So before you start, you need to work out what length you're going to need for your bracelet. So you need to measure around your wrist and find out what length you need. And for this one you can make as many or as few of these as you like, because we're going to join them together after. We're going to make these parts separately and then join them together. So you could just have one in the centre, or you could have 4 like I've done here. You could have them closer together, like you could even have just one bead between them, or you could have them spaced further apart. But that's going to depend also on how long your bracelet needs to be. So I've done 4 spaced with 10 beads in between them, and my bracelet is 6 inches. So you need to sort of decide before you start how many of these you're going to make. So as you go you can make them and then sort of lay them out how far apart you think you want them, and then measure until you've got as many as you're going to need to make your bracelet. And first thing you're going to do, you're going to start with the colour that you want to be in the centre, and you're going to pick up 4 of those like that, and you're going to slide those down onto your thread until you've got about a few inches left on the end, and just hold them there and sew through the first bead to bring them all together like this. So just flip it over so I'm here. Now you're going to pick up another one. Coming out of this one on the bottom, you're going to go up through this one on the side. Okay, picking up another one, and coming out here you're going to go through the one on the top. Picking up another one. Now you're coming out this one on the top, you're going to go down through the one on this other side, and pick up one more for this row. So we're coming out here and we're going to go through this one on the bottom. So right now you have this little square, and you're coming out of this bead on the bottom of that original group of 4. Just going to step up into this one next to it, like that. Okay, so this time you're going to pick up 2 of that same colour, and we're coming out of this one on this corner, we're going to go into the one on the next corner here. So you're skipping over that one and going through the next one on the corner. So we have this, picking up 2 again. We're coming out of this one, so we're going to skip that one and go through this one on this next corner. So we've got this, picking up 2 more, and we're coming out here. So again, we're going to skip over one and go through the one on the next corner. So we've got this and picking up your last 2 for this row. So you're coming out here, and as always, you're just going to skip over one and go through the next one. Okay, so we have this right now. So I'm coming out here, so I'm going to step up. Here's the first 2 that we added in that row. I'm going to step up through the first one like that. So this is what we have so far. Okay, picking up 2 again. So we're coming out of this one, so that's that group of 2. There's 4 groups of 2 that we added in the previous row. So we're in the middle of this group of 2. We're going to go straight down through that second one in that group of 2. And make sure that those beads sort of stack nicely like that on top. Okay, now we're going to switch to our outer colour. So I'm going to be doing silver, so I'm going to switch to my silver. So I'm picking up 1. And I'm coming out of this one, so I'm going to skip that one that's like underneath and go into the first bead of that next group of 2, which is along the top. Okay, so we have this. So picking up 2 back to your middle colour, and we're coming out of this one, I'm going to go straight down through the next one. Now swapping back to the outer colour again, picking up 1, coming out here, skip over that one that's underneath and through the next bead. Okay, and now picking up 2 again. So we're on this side now, so we're coming out here. So we're going to go straight down through the next bead, right there. So we have this, picking up one of your outer colour. And we're coming out of this bead here. I'm going to skip that one underneath and go into this next one. So this is this last group of 2 that we had on the bottom, just through that first one in that group of 2. So now we're here, picking up 2 and coming out of this one, you're going to go straight down through the next one. Okay, make sure they sit nice. And now add in the last bead of the row, so it's going to be one of our outer colour. And we're coming out of this bead right here, going to, as always, skip that one and go through the next one. And because it's the last bead of the row, we're also going to step up into the row above. So I've gone through that one. Now I'm coming out of this bead, I'm going to go straight up to that one directly above it. I'm now coming out in the middle of that first group of 2 that we just added in that row. So for this row, we're just going to be working with your outer colour. So start by picking up one of those. And coming out of this one, you're going to go straight down through the next one. Like that. So we've got a little point on there. So now what we need to do is travel from where we are here all the way to the top of this next point. So we're going to have 4 points, so you can already see the cross starting to form. So we need to be adding our next point up here. So we're coming out of this one, I'm going to travel through this bead and that silver one on the outside, and then up through these 2 beads here. So as long as you make your way round to this top point, then it doesn't matter how you get there. So then you're going to pick up one of your outer colour. Coming out of this one, you're going to go straight down through the next one to put that little point on the top of that one. So now the same thing again, I'm going to travel through 1, 2, 3, 4 beads so that I'm coming out of this bead here to add this next point. Okay, so now I'm here, I'm going to do the same thing, so picking up one of my outer colour and going straight down through the next bead to make that sit in the middle. And finally again, I'm going to travel round through 1, 2, 3, 4 beads until I'm coming out of this one here, ready to add that last point. Okay, so I'm on that bottom point and I'm just going to add that bead in the same way as always, straight down into that next bead. So we're here on the bottom point. I'm going to move around so that we're coming out of this silver bead on this side here. So I'm just going to travel through these 2 beads. So I'm coming out of this silver one here. So that's where you need to be. Okay, so now we're just going to fill in the sides of the little cross. So I'm going to pick up 3 beads each time. So I'm picking up 3, and this is going to be your outer colour. Picking up 3, I'm coming out of this silver one, so we're going to go into the next silver one. So the one on this corner. Like that. And picking up 3. We're coming out of this silver one, we're going to go into the next one, which is going to be this one in the middle of this side. And again, picking up 3. Coming out of this one and going into the next silver one. So you're going to do that now all the way around, picking up 3 each time. And just going straight into the next silver bead around the edge. So go all the way around and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so you've made one. So this is what you've got. So like I said at the start, you're going to have to kind of decide how far apart you want your space. So if you're doing it just like mine, which is what I'm going to show you today, we're going to do 10 beads in between them. So I'm doing 4, but that's a 6-inch bracelet, so you may need 5 or less, I guess, depending on how big your bracelet is going to be. On each one that you make, you can thread your needle onto your short tail thread that we started with. And then I'm going to show you how to tie a knot and cut off this thread. So what I'm going to do first of all is just move to the top edge of the piece, just following the path of the beads, just moving up until I'm on the outer edge so that it's easier for us to see what we're doing. So it doesn't matter which bead on the outside edge you're coming out of, but just as long as you're coming out one of these ones on the outside. So then you're going to take your needle under these threads and catch these threads. I don't know if you can see that, but my needle has caught those threads that connect the bead that I'm coming out of to the next one. So make sure you catch those threads and then pull it down till you've got a small loop and go through it twice. Pull it down nice and slowly and tight until you feel the knot tighten. And then move away. Again, pulling it tight so that that knot disappears inside the bead. And you can tie as many knots as you want, and then you just need to cut your thread. Always move away before you cut your thread. Okay, so you can tie off all of the tail threads on each one that you make. So like I said at the start, for one of these you're going to need a longer piece of thread, and I'm, so like I said, about 40 inches to finish off the bracelet at the end. So I'm going to leave this long working thread attached on my first one, and then on the other ones you can use that shorter piece of thread, about 18 inches, so then you can cut off your working thread on the other ones as well, but make sure you just leave one with that extra long piece of thread attached, and then I'll show you how to join them all together. Okay, so I've got the 4 that I need here, so once you've got all the ones that you want and you've got this one with your thread still attached, so we're going to add the clasp first. So you've got your first one here, so you need to move your thread and make sure your thread's coming out. So if you hold it like this, so you've got the cross looking like this, on this side, well, on each side, you've got that one bead in the middle that sits right between those 2 purple beads. This bead right here that sits lower than the others, you've got it at the top of each point. It's that bead that you need to be coming out of. So my thread's coming out of there, and then I'm going to pick up 10 of my beads and slide those down like that, and then I'm going to pick up 2 more plus my clasp, half of my clasp, and then 2 more, like that. I'm going to slide those down, but I'm going to sort of keep them separate from those ones we added before, and I'm going to go up through the first 2 of those. Okay, so we have this. Now, holding that clasp away, you can pull those down until they are right against this. So you don't want a gap. If you've got a gap, then hold your clasp while you pull it down. Make sure it sits nice and tight like that. So now I'm going to move through my clasp and down through the 2 beads on this side. Okay, so we have this. So these are the 4 that we added with our clasp. So we're going to go down through these 10 again. Coming out of this side this time, it's going to sort of centre it. So down through all 10 of those. Pull that nice and tight, and it should mean that that strand of beads sort of sits in the centre of those 2 now, rather than attached just to this side. Okay, so now we've got this. So now you want to join back into this bead that you're connected to, but you already joined to this side. So just to keep it centered again, we're going to join to the other side. So you're going to go through that bead and the side that you haven't gone through it, like that. Pull that tight. Okay, so that's the first half of the clasp attached. Now you need to move around through these outside edge beads all the way around to the other side, so that you're coming out again of that middle bead that sits right between those 2. So move around the outside edge until you get to there. Okay, so I'm coming out of that bead that I mentioned, then I'm going to pick up 10 again, slide those down. So we have this. And then you're going to get your next one of these, and you're going to go into that same bead, so the one that sits right in the middle, like that. Pull that all the way down to those beads, and keep that pulled nice and tight as you then sew all the way around the side again until you're coming out of the bead opposite over here. Okay, so once you're coming out the bead opposite, you're just going to do the same again. So you're going to pick up 10 more beads, followed by your next one of these, and then move around the side, 10 more beads until you've added them all. And then when you get to the last one, you're just going to come all the way around to the other side of it, 10 beads, and then pick up 4, including you and also your clasp, and then add your clasp in the same way. So join those 4 together and then sew back down, back to this first one. So you can go ahead and add all of those. So I've gone all the way along. I've added my clasp in exactly the same way that I did this end. And the reason I've got so much thread left is because I'm going to go all the way back along and maybe back again, just to make sure that these bits, which have only got one pass, are nice and secure, so they have a few passes. So all you need to do now is to tie off your threads and we're all finished. So once you've tied off both your threads, then you're all finished, and that's the finished bracelet. So this is what it looks like close up. Very cute. And this is the other one that I did. So I really like these, like I'm going to wear these together, definitely stacked together. So yeah, like I said, you could do them spaced further apart or closer together, or you could just have one in the middle. You could definitely do this as a long necklace as well, which would be really cute. I hope you enjoyed this video and you're able to make one of these. Let me know if you did, and comment down below anything else you'd like to see. And like this video if you enjoyed, and subscribe to see more of my videos. You can follow me on Instagram at Beadingbyhannah as well. Thanks so much for watching everyone. See you next time. Bye.